Testing, testing, one. This is testing one. Testing, testing one.
Thank you. If we can take our seats, we're going to get started, please. We are going to call our town hall meeting to order. We have certainly important business to discuss, but before we do that, we certainly want to open up, as we say in the country, decent and in order. Y'all know about that, 'cause everybody here is more metropolitan than me. With that, we're gonna ask the shepherd of this house, the one that always says yes when we call. He was running today. I told him that we broke in because we were here when he got here. But we are here because Pastor Trey and this church wants us here. So if anybody asks you why we're here, and people do, you would be surprised how Pastor the calls that get. I do owe one of your colleagues from popping up. I don't know what he won't yet, but I said I'll come over here first, and then I will talk to him. People want us to go to there, but sometimes for different reasons. Is that a nice way to say it? It's for different reasons. But we are home, and I was just reading the historical marker, and it recognizes that they were the only ones, this church, were the only ones that would let the NAACP meet and establish, and this branch was established in 1945 here in this church. And that may not sound like much, but remember, if you what you've read, nobody's in here with, I'm sure. But Jim Crow was live and well and living and operating in Broward County in the city of Fort Lauderdale. So the churches that didn't want to risk their facility, their lives, their anything to allow a civil rights organization to organize, because the very first meeting was here, and let alone meet. So they allowed us under the cloak of darkness to come here, risking everything. And so it is, when we come here, we are coming home. So run and tell that if someone is asking. Aston, if you'll open us up in prayer.
Amen. Thank you so much for coming, and like I said, you're always welcome. You guys know that the NAACP is always welcome here at Mount Hermon, and we're so glad that you came. So I know everybody's been busy today, so let's just stand and shake it out a little bit before we go to the Lord in prayer. All right, let us bow our heads. Father God, we thank you for allowing us to have safe travel to this moment. God, we ask that you will not allow us just to pray on our knees, but also to pray on our feet in this moment. For we know that you are with us, you are with this country, and those of us who love this city and our state, God, continue to guide the decisions that we make, the resistance that we take, and the blessings that we ask to come from you, God. We know that you will endow. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. We're going to ask our member, Ms. Jasmine Shirley, to come forth and do our membership appeal.
Thank you very much, Madam President. You all see this sign. So let me read it to you so that you are crystal clear as to what the NAACP is and will always be to our community and our people. The NAACP is the largest and the oldest, the baddest and the boldest the most loved, the most hated, and most feared and revered, the most cussed and discussed civil rights organization in America. We are as great as our members are. You are our asset. If you are not a member of the NAACP, you need to be a member of the NAACP. You, your families, and your loved ones. That is an easy thing to do for all that is done for us, watching out for us, looking out for us, and protecting us, fighting and giving us a voice at the table always. The NAACP has always been there, and we will always be there for the NAACP. Before you leave, please, if you are not a member, please consider getting one of these for $30 a year, annual membership for an adult. That's not very much to give back to this organization. Your youth, adolescents, they need to be a member as well. And if you want to even go further and become a life member, please do so. Life membership, that's phenomenal. At $750 for the year, by the end of this year, that will be going up. So if you're interested in life membership, please do so before December. Before December 1st. If not a life member, a regular member at $30, annually renewed, will give you your membership and your claim and your voice to give us your voice, your talents, and your time. Thank you so very much. I wish and hope that all of you will highly consider, if not yourselves, others who are not members to become members. We thank you very much for your participation and always your support. Thank you, Red, for allowing us back in. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Jazz. You can also go on to our website, which is nacpftlbroward.com, and join. You can also make sure that you are, it's an auto, so we don't have to call you, we don't have to ask you, you join automatically. Before I go any further, I want to thank Congresswoman Judge. I just had to send one text, and I told them that you all were gonna be here, along with a lot of other people. And so my favorite, y'all know I like police, but I don't love them like that sometimes. But my favorite police officer, Lieutenant Aaron Wright, who is here, and I saw he sent some of his folk over there, and I said, did you ditch us? Because, you know, I like to see you, because I know when we had a officer who made racist remarks, who lied on two Black men to everybody. And when the complaint was filed, and you know, most of the time when you file a complaint with the police department, it's just the police investigating the police. And more often than not, they find nothing there. It was always us. But thanks to one police officer who just went with the facts, who made sure that he investigated so much that his own department said that he over-investigated, Congresswoman, said that you should never have gone and asked for the video that showed the truth. You should never have interviewed witnesses that told the truth. You are just after your fellow police officers. But through all of the scrutiny and the comments and the name calling, Lieutenant Wright did his job. And because he did his job, put on a case, like I've seen plenty of complaints and I've seen plenty of files, none like this, simply the truth. That officer will never be an officer at the city of Fort Lauderdale ever again. So wherever I see Lieutenant Wright, I want to say thank you, sir, and we appreciate you. And thank you for being here and sending your folk, because sometimes, you know, sometimes y'all don't, you know, do the right thing. But I want to certainly let you know that we appreciate all that you do and servicing our community. And he asked to be over here. Some folk,
like to be on the beach. He likes to be over here with his people. Doesn't do anything special but his job, and so I want to say thank you for that. I want to thank Paulette, who has come from the Miami-Dade branch. You may recognize her, Danette, because she wears that royal blue and white like you do. Danette Gibson, who's a life member and also a Zeta, and Paulette, who is with Miami-Dade, but she works throughout. If it's about political anything, it is about civic engagement, then we can always count on her for. She works with all three of our South Florida branches. Paulette, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you. And without further ado, I want to welcome to the panel. I'll start out with my cohort, who is always, if I go through a door and I might need to get something on my books or get somebody out, I would call this person who she's a night owl like me, who says she retired. She retired from the bench, but she didn't retire from the people. So I want to welcome, first of all, our own judge, the Alona Maxine Holmes, government names, retired judge, 17th Circuit. Come on up, the people's judge. And so, speaking of life members of the NAACP, when we need to know what is really happening, when we need to know the facts. So I didn't go to, and I'm sure your staff, Congresswoman, very nice, but I don't do intermediaries. So we wanted to make sure that we heard from you. Don't tell us what the people say. Don't tell us, we want you to come to the people. And it was just a matter of agreeing to a date. No matter what you've heard, this is our Congresswoman. And when they talk about, and you'll hear about it a little later, this redistricting, they're not simply attacking the Congresswoman. They're attacking all of us because this is our representation. And so don't think they're doing it for any other reason but to come after us. Unfortunately, they've done well in other places, but we don't intend to let that happen here. Ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome NAACP life member, the Congresswoman for Florida District 20, our own Congresswoman Sheila Shufflers McCormick. Go right ahead. And so we are to hold, the NAACP is to hold town halls all over the country because the people perish from lack of knowledge. No matter what you hear, and I could barely stand CNN and MSNBC, I ain't gonna fool you on that part. But instead of hearing what the pundits are saying, let us hear from our representative, our congressperson, who needs us to be informed and need us to be writing, and you'll have a call to action when you're done, but I wanted to get her in to see you all, and she has staff here that she will introduce that will be able to contact the office, so you won't say, I don't know her, I haven't seen her, I don't know how to contact her. None of that will be an issue if it was past tonight's. Congresswoman McCormick, go right ahead, please.
Well, good evening, everyone. It is such a blessing to be here today with the NAACP, especially sitting here with these ladies. I mean, I am always in awe every time I see Judge Holmes. And she tries to retire, but we're not gonna let you. I said, I can give you 2 weeks, but that's it. You gotta get back on the battlefield because there's a war going on. But Marsha, thank you for your consistency. And when I see you, I hear you, I think about great leaders in the NAACP. When we think of Yuma Johnson and what she did at that time, for you to stand here with all these women and all the members of NAACP, understanding what this fight originally was about and how history now has repeated itself, where we now have to fight again. And we have been on this mission. The mission that I've been on, we've been doing more than 100 stops. I think by today we could be on 121 stops within the last 2 months. And in this stop, we've been trying to tell people that this is a clarion call, that the war has been declared on us. And if you don't understand what I mean, the war has been declared on us, just look around. Look at Washington, D.C., a black city, and we're seeing crime the lowest it's ever been. But the military now walk the streets to the point where my husband, who was running just on a regular walk, wearing basketball shorts, running, trying to be healthy because he's an old man now. He's looking at 50. And I make fun of him all the time. So he was jogging in DC. And as he was jogging, he saw the military people just looking, and he saw the federal agents, but he heard this noise, and as he's running, there was a helicopter following him. And the helicopter started lowering itself. And he's dressed in regular workout clothes, jogging. And it came to the point where the helicopter came low to try to intimidate and looked at him and took off. And this is Washington, D.C. No probable cause, no crime, nothing been committed, but just because the color of your skin and you're running, you are a problem. Look at the other states they're talking about coming into, the other cities, all black cities. Look at the different rules they're placing in front of us. All of a sudden they say, we have a big problem with elections. But where is that problem? Why is it always in our district? Now they want to remove the absentee ballots because they said that's where the illegality happens. Well, we know we have to go to work. We know that voting on Tuesday is not a national holiday. We know that our babies need to eat. So of course I need to mail in my ballot. But historically, when we fought for our rights, is because they played all kinds of games and trickery. And we see that trickery re-emerging itself, and now they talk about redistricting. And I have a whole speech here and I have handouts, but I think it's urgent and pressing for us to be here in the house of the Lord, here with the NAACP, and remember who we are and why we started. Remember that there was a time before where the children of God were called, and they were brave, and they came into the house. And they said that at this moment, we're called to be salty. And being salty means we have to speak up. And when you speak up and start organizing and talk about what's true and what's equitable, and what we deserve, and what we will not allow you to do to us, just know they will come for you. You will be the most discussed and also cursed out. You will be the one most hated. But we have a responsibility to tell every generation our story and what's going on. And I have made a pledge to myself and to everyone. I said we would not lose not one of anybody in my district or in my state. You will be going through my dead body if you think you're gonna come up in here and intimidate us and take our voting rights, take our health insurance. You will not. And so that's why we fight so hard and we go to every single area and we talk to them. But I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a hard fight. And the biggest reason it's such a hard fight is because look around us. We're the young people, the people who are going to be the most impacted. They're nowhere to be seen. Out of all my 121 events, I have not seen people who are under the age of 30. How old are you? Thank you for being here. We'll take you. Thank you. But I have not seen anybody under the age of 30. And the things we're talking about, when we talk about economic achievement, when we're talking about your ability to have equal access to an education, when we're talking about your ability to actually get a job, scholarships, that was just taken away from us, talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Well, you know why we had these programs? Because we have a foul history of racism and hatred. That foul history had several laws and several ramifications that we still feel today. So this imagination that somehow these laws were actually stopping other communities from progressing, or that we have taken something from them that they have earned, is a lie. We know that every Black person who has been given an opportunity, if you look at their resume, they probably have worked 3 to 4 times longer than their white counterparts. Look at their education. I guarantee you, they will have 2 to 3 more degrees than their counterparts. But what does this country do? It reverts back to its hateful nature, that sinful nature, that says that if you have something, it's because I was denied something. Instead of realizing that this is not a zero-sum equation, that we can all thrive. Just because I have something doesn't mean I stole it from you. Just because my child is given an opportunity doesn't mean my child stole it from you. Doesn't mean that we're inherently inferior because you have superiority because of your skin in this country. Don't tell me that you were born here and this is your country. I was born here too. Don't tell me that your parents came here. My parents came here too. Don't tell me that, oh, immigrants and other people, they're not getting the best and the brightest. Because the last time I checked, the Mayflower didn't bring the best and the brightest. Let's be real. They didn't bring the best and the brightest. And the rest of us was stolen and bought here. Human trafficking. Don't tell me the best and the brightest thought it was the best thing to steal people and bring them to America. Let's be real and talk about who we are and where we're going. Let's actually start bringing people and holding their feet to the fire of what this is really about. This is about hatred. Hatred. And who is fueling that fire? We have to hold them accountable. And so I come here and I had all this stuff to say, but I wanted to talk about what this is really about. It's simple for someone to say, you know what, the problem with America is that all these jobs are being taken by immigrants and unqualified Black people. It's simple. So, okay, I gave you like what? They've been in office probably for 8 months, 9 months. You guys have wrecked the economy. Is anybody doing better? Did y'all get some jobs? I want to know. I mean, I don't see it. You. And you, I don't want to curse in here, but we know what that is, right? Right?
Congressman Hayes, it's a church.
Because these are the excuses they tell us. And the fact that you have 6 kids and you're working and you're here to join the fight, that already lets me know you have the work ethic and the discipline that most people don't. And so as we sit here, we talk about what's going on, we have to make sure that we're looking at it from the proper lens. This is about hatred. This is about them telling a group of people that if you hate that person, they stole from you, so now we're going to give it all back to you. It's not true. The opportunities in the United States have left this country. It has left this country because this country has not been investing properly in Americans. Where are the job skills training? Don't tell me you want to fire all 500,000 of these immigrants in healthcare, but when we try to fund healthcare training to give people training so they become nurses, doctors, physician assistants, HHA, CNA, they denied it. So how serious are you about creating jobs? You're not. And so I want everybody to see everything clearly before we dive into what's actually going on in DC, because the first thing you're going to know is that it's pretextual. It's not real. These are all excuses to cut and to make sure that they can deny us and deprive us of what we're actually constitutionally required to have. That is our right, which was equal access to actually live a dignified life. So the first thing, we have handouts for everybody. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you wanted to.
No, I'll be brief.
Okay.
Because we sent out a text yesterday, a post yesterday from the national office that said, we suing everybody.
We sue everybody. I'm gonna get that shirt and I'm gonna start wearing it around. Good evening. It is an honor to be here, especially with the Congresswoman, and just to impose upon your minds and to impart to you the seriousness of where we are right now. Sometimes I feel like the preachers, and I am one, but I'm not going to tune up on you tonight, where they say Christ is coming back soon. And just because he hasn't come yet, we feel that we have time. And that's what's happening in the United States, especially with our people, the younger ones. Traditionally, the NAACP always relied upon the youth. It was the youth that sat at those Woolworth counters. And so when the Congresswoman asked who's under 30, she's going places and we're not seeing young people. And the reason is because they feel it's not going to happen. But they don't know. I've experienced some discrimination. I remember growing up in Philadelphia, and we would come from Philadelphia to Deerfield Beach to see my mother's mother, my grandmother. And there were times we stopped in South Carolina and Georgia, and my sister and I couldn't go to the bathroom in the gas stations. And that's when I found out what stickers, we call them these sandy spurs. On the side of the road, you had to squat and all them things getting the stickers. And I even remember in law school in the 80s, I stopped in Alabama It was a snowy night, and I stopped to get some contact lens drops, and they wouldn't let me in the store. They said they were closed, even though there were people milling about and doing. That's coming back, and some of you don't know about it, you haven't experienced it, but it's going to happen in the United States because you have somebody in power that wants to be a king, and everybody around him is telling him how great he is, right? And so he's doing and saying everything, and then he's writing all these executive orders. How many of you know that executive orders is not legislation? It's not legislation. It's really not the law. However, because we, as a people, traditionally, we don't vote. You know, we just wait and see what happens. We don't make things happen. And this, we always say elections have consequences. This past election had consequences. For whatever reason, I talked to black men, I don't want Kamala Harris in office, but they come to me and ask me about, well, this law said, what, you want to get legal advice from me, but you don't think a woman can be president? Think about the insanity of things that people say. We got people, rappers, and people who are influencers. And because somebody slipped them $500, 30 pieces of silver, they go the other way. But now more than ever, you need to get ready. The Bible says, arm yourselves likewise, because it's coming. Thank you for coming tonight, because knowledge is power. And since we're in a church, I'm going to quote as many scriptures as I can. The Bible says, my people are destroyed. Why? For lack of knowledge. So you're going to get, now this place should be packed out, standing room only. Because the Congresswoman is going to tell us what they have on the, you know, she's on the chopping block too. Y'all's governor did a little press conference, and they put her picture up on the screen like that was one of the gerrymandering districts that they're going after, District 20. I live in the district. Don't think because I got the title that I'm living in some gated community. Gated communities are the Broward Jail and Rayford, that's gated community. I live with the people. I listen to what you're saying and I see what you're doing. And if you're not getting concerned, whenever the United States sneezes, Black people catch pneumonia. And it's going to happen if we don't do something. So I'm very proud to be a life member of the NAACP because that's our new motto. We sue everybody. We are in lawsuits. Thanks to Madam President, I get all kinds of pleadings in the middle of the night. Can you look this over? Well, when am I supposed to sleep? But you know what? It's worth reading and asking and doing my consultation on pleadings. But you know what? We're getting kicked out of these lawsuits. Well, traditionally, we would have like a foothold. We got one judge in the Northern District that loves us, but they're after him too. The judges have been threatened. They're scared, spineless. Look, if that's all they can do, maybe they shouldn't be voted in. Because I always knew I had something else to do if I wasn't on the bench. I was gonna always eat, because all y'all that cook, I was gonna find you. So the judges are getting spineless. We don't know if the courts are going to be able to hold, okay? Because too many of them are crossing over, trying to keep their jobs and that little bit of money that the job pays. Like they can't do something else. So the appeal was made, but before you leave here tonight, if you're not a member of the NAACP, we need you. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's not that your $30 is paying somebody's rent or something like that. That keeps us flush with membership. And when we go to court and the judge says, why are you here? That's called standing, standing. Standing is you have a reason, okay? It affects you. But when we don't have plaintiffs, people who are being in these lawsuits, if we don't have them, the first thing the judge does is look to see, do you have standing to even bring this action? So I need you all, because you may not be affected by Medicaid, but you are Medicare recipients, some of you. Some of you are not getting EBT and SNAP, but some of you, are looking at the pantries. Pretty soon they're gonna dry up. okay? And when Elijah was profiting, or prophesying rather, and telling people that it was not going to rain, and eventually the well dried up. Okay, so where are you going to run to when the well dries up? So thank you for being here. Listen carefully to the Congresswoman. She's going to give us some action words, but look, don't let them get away with what they're doing in Texas. We don't have the numbers to stop them. They know that. The only thing we represent in these state houses is we make up a number to help them to get a quorum. Okay? That's all. So as long as they have a quorum, they can vote us down because we can't do anything. Okay? But, you know, we need you all to know that we are trying to come up with action plans. And look, if you go to jail, Paul and Silas went to jail for a good cause. I'll come get you. I'll come get you out. I promise you that. But we're going to fight. We're not going to let them take District 20. Okay, and give me somebody that don't know what it's like to eat sardines, okay? Jiffy Pop popcorn and pork and beans, that's what I ate in law school, because I didn't come up with no silver spoon. So we're not gonna let them do that in Florida, but you know what? It's already happened in Texas. However, we got a few judges still that said what they did was unconstitutional. But we don't have the Supreme Court. There's a 6-3 majority on that Supreme Court. Now, I'm praying. Those of you who believe in fasting and praying, okay, because this is not the first time we didn't have the majority. We didn't have the majority when Brown versus Board of Education was passed in 1954. But the saints was praying. That's why we meet in churches, because we know we need God's help. So listen carefully. There's going to be a plan of action. And I need all of y'all. I need to be able to look and say, Madam President, let me see who we got on our rolls, who's a member. That way we can keep our feet and our hands in these lawsuits. Is that okay with y'all? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. And so, Congresswoman, tell us the big, and if I wasn't in church, I'd call it something else, but I ain't gonna say it. The big, beautiful bill that does. Tell us how that is going to affect our community.
Well, we've named it the Big Ugly Bill. And the Big Ugly Bill cuts probably $16 billion from Medicaid. Can I use this one? From Medicaid. How will that affect you? So let's talk about Medicaid by the numbers. How many people are familiar with Medicaid? That would let me know how far we have to talk about it. So most of you guys are familiar with Medicaid. Medicaid is for usually our underserved. We have some people who are disabled. A lot of our children are on Medicaid. And I'm going to give you Medicaid by the numbers. Now, mind you, this is going to be cutting $16 billion. 149,700 people are on Medicaid within Florida District 20, just here, including 84,587 children under the age of 19 and 21,000 seniors. Now, you guys all have this, so I'm going to go through it quickly. 2 in 5 births in Florida are covered by Medicaid. Now, I don't know if you understand what the real impact is, but I'm gonna give you an example. Right now, Medicaid covers a lot of our women who don't have money, who can't afford to have these babies. The hospitals actually serve our community. They rely on Medicaid. As of right now, we have several hospitals in our district who are considering even closing down once these cuts kick in, especially our hospitals in the Glades, in Belle Glades, Pahokee, South Bay, that is part of our district. And we have hospitals there that are actually looking towards shutting down because they're not gonna have enough money to cover the women having these babies. Now, 71% of Florida's Medicaid funding comes from the federal government, with the state government contributing 29%. In the state of Florida, we didn't have Medicaid and Medicare expansion, so that already limited our accessibility to healthcare. But now we're gonna have more severe accessibility issues. But I just want you to know that these cuts are in combination or in conjunction with limiting accessibility. How are they limiting accessibility right now? I'm sure you guys heard about all the federal employees who are getting fired. All those people who were there working for HHS, Medicaid, answering your phone calls, where they fired more than half of those people. So even if you wanted to put in your application through the state, through the government, it's going to be very difficult for you to challenge anything. Very difficult for you if you have a question. It's going to be very difficult, but that was intentional. Because if you can't contest it while you were kicked off, guess what? You stay kicked off. If you can't find someone to say, hey, I was supposed to be covered for this procedure. Well, can't find anybody, guess what? You're not getting approved for that procedure. So they're intentionally limiting your access to it. In conjunction, they're going to be cutting all these people off. So one of the things we're doing is we're reaching out to let everybody know what's going on. So when and if this happens to you, you can reach out to our office. Because our office now can reach out and do casework for you to find out if you were actually supposed to be kicked off, was it an accident? And these are things that now we have to be vigilant about. Because what we've seen with this administration is that funny things happen all the time. Things that weren't supposed to happen, and you have to go back and challenge it. And so we want everybody to be vigilant and listen to and figure out what's happening and if it's happening to you. Now, Medicaid cuts. On July 4th, the President Trump signed this big ugly bill into law. This bill would kick 10,000 Florida residents off of Medicaid, and it disproportionately affects women and our seniors and our children. Our district is now on track to lose upwards of $2.3 billion in Medicaid funding. Now, remember, I told you that this is only $16 billion that they're cutting. Well, not only, but $16 billion. Out of that $16 billion, District 20 is about to be $2.3 billion of that. So you understand who they're really coming with with these cuts. Our district, the blackest district in the state of Florida, is $2.3 billion of cuts. That's why it's so severe and the impact is going to be tough on us. That's why you have to be vigilant. So what we started doing as we were going around having these town halls, we started raising hell. We had people posting, sending messages, calling, we said tweet, do a video, talk about how it's going to hurt you and how you don't like it, and that you will be watching elections, that you will get out and say you don't like it. So it became so unpopular because of you guys, because everybody stood up and came out, that they said, okay, we're going to be slick this time. We want to make sure that this goes into full effect after the 2026 elections. And so that's why we put this timeline here, so you'll be aware of what's going on. And the reason why they pushed it back, another reason, is because they've been selling this as a big, beautiful bill. It's going to be wonderful. No, it's not. And that's why they pushed it for implementation after January 2026, after an election. So look out for that. There's other things that I want to talk to you about that some people aren't aware of that you need to be aware of. Now, when it comes to getting on Medicaid and Medicare, a lot of people, there's a price point, right, for you to qualify. The price point used to be like, you had to make less than $1 million. Now, for a lot of people, $1 million is a lot, right? But thinking about now in Florida with the price of houses and how much things cost now, even though it's not a real price for your house, they have lowered it down now to $700,000. So what does that look like? You know, let's say you're married, you have a house, you've had this house in Fort Lauderdale for a very long time, and now the house has appreciated for $700,000. You go to apply for your Medicaid or to get your benefits, they're going to say, guess what? You don't apply for it because you make too much money. You're going to say, I don't make any money. This is just my house that I have here in Fort Lauderdale, and they're trying to gentrify this whole area, and now they shot up the price of my house, and I need my health insurance. I've been paying into it. Give me my health insurance. Nope. Your house costs too much money. You can go sell your house and pay for your own health insurance. That's what they just did. So I want you to watch out for that because we're fighting to turn that around. Another thing I want to let you know about this clawback. Clawback applies for Medicaid and Medicare. This is one of the biggest things that we're seeing. They passed this clawback bill which says if somehow they feel like they messed up and they paid you too much money, they can come back and pull all of that money away from you all at once. Before, if that had happened, they would do maybe 10% or work out something with you so they can take it back, reasonably. What does that look like? Let's say Miss Susie, she has her bill and she's been getting her $600 every single month, right? And then one day they say, no, we overpaid you $2,000. And she's like, Susie's like, I didn't get paid any extra money. This is my same bill for $600, like my same payment for $600. Well, what they'll go in and do is take that first $600. So that's your first check, your first month. Go in and take your second month. And then they're going to take the rest on your third month. Because what they're saying is, you owe me money. Now, when you call to dispute it, who are you going to find? Because they fired everybody. Who are you going to dispute it with? When you call and say, well, this isn't right, I never had this, you're going to be waiting months to hear from somebody where they already took their money. And if you know anything about the federal government, once they have your money, they take you through high water, a long process to get your money back.
Dr. Smoke, while you're on the issue of Medicare, one of the campaign promises was that, and a lot of seniors fell for it, is that it would be not taxed under this big, beautiful bill. Tell us what happened with that promise.
It was a lie, like many other ones. That's the easiest I could tell you because, I mean, the promises are made, but when we get in there as legislators and we're looking at what they're putting forth, they didn't even say anything really that spoke to it. Nobody wanted it. It was just a lie. When we talked about how you're harming everybody, they started saying that these are entitlement programs. And I said, absolutely not. This is a contract with American people, with the American government. Before you get your money, the government gets their money. Before you have a say, they take their money. And what did they say? We promise you that you will get health insurance and you will be taken care of. But now you're trying to renege. Now you're trying to create obstacles so I can't cash in my check. So it is not an entitlement program. This is actually a promise, a contractual promise that you must fulfill. And that's how we have to treat this, as a contractual promise and demand that they fulfill it. Now with Medicare, like right now, I want to tell you the order of operations. We're dealing with Medicaid because that's the first thing we had to deal with in the budget. When we get back in Congress in 2 days, we will be dealing with Medicare. And now Medicare, they're thinking they did such a great job with this that they're going to try and go after Medicare. Now Medicare is something that's even more important to us because so many people rely on this. And so I'm going to be doing more updates as we come back on the weekend to tell you the progress of the Medicare cuts, because they already started with the cuts they want to do to Medicare, including shrinking your accessibility, kicking people off. Now, you may be wondering, where is the money going? Well, that's a good question. The money is going to be going, well, half of it already went to Elon Musk. He took his money and left. But the rest of it's going to be going towards tax credits and cuts for billionaires, not millionaires, billionaires, right? And that's really what this is to do. This is to fund their tax cuts and to fund their own selves in their own pockets. So let's be clear. This is not to help anybody. This was strategically done to target the most vulnerable. Why? Because they feel the most vulnerable can't fight back. They feel the most vulnerable doesn't have a voice, that they won't show up to vote. And if you try to show up to vote, they're going to make it very hard for you to vote. But that's where the NAACP steps in. That's where we step in to let them know that we're not here to play with you. That if you come against us, we're coming against you. Don't think you're going to survive an election by doing all this slick stuff and lying to us. Don't think that if you allow my child to go hungry, my parents to go hungry, or my children not to have opportunities, that we will turn a blind eye and put you back there. We will not stand for it. So I want you to understand what this fight is really about. I want to move now to what happened with Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. That is our SNAP program. And I really want to express something about what we've been seeing. In this present climate, one of the biggest things that we have been fighting in District 20, from Broward County to Palm Beach County, not just homelessness, but also starvation and hunger. We have been noticing that as hunger increases for our seniors, suicide rates increase for our seniors simultaneously. Yes, there is a correlation. And when we looked a little further, we found out that the seniors now who have did all the work, they did everything they needed to, they felt like they bought their condo, they got their place they're gonna stay in, that now with all these fees, with all of the homeowners insurance, with all the floods, with everything that's going on, they can no longer afford to even be in their homes. So we have more seniors living in their houses, in their cars. We have more seniors who are starving. In the midst of this, we went to Congress and I explained to them the problem that we're having with our seniors and that we need to make sure that we have these safety net programs being fortified for our seniors. If not, this will be the first time in history where we found people who attained the American dream but lost it in their senior years. First time ever. This will be the first time that we had people who paid into the system but will not be getting out of the system what they were promised. The first time. And instead, they actually said, well, we have more cuts to provide. And they started doing more cuts when it came to SNAP. And so here are the numbers that we have with SNAP on who it's going to affect. And these programs do cut, and they harm families, they harm our seniors, and they do harm our students. And I always say, think about things in compounds, right? How is this compounded on an individual? We already know what programs they're cutting in Broward County when it comes to school lunch and food in Broward County. And now not to have the federal aid and assistance that's necessary is actually egregious. And one thing I want you to know also that I forgot to mention about the Medicaid and the Medicare is that one of the things they pointed out, they said that the justification for all this was because there's a whole bunch of men living in their mama's basements with no jobs. That was their justification. We got to have work requirements. Everybody got to go to work. You know, that's what the real problem is. They're not doing anything. And so they said, okay, you know, the way we're going to address that is by, if you are between 55 and 65, you got to go to work. And I said, well, isn't that targeting the wrong people you talked about? So now you have stricter work requirements on 55 to 65? What happened to the young men you said who were living in the basement? How come you're not targeting them? There goes the lie, once again. There goes the lie, and them taking advantage of people who are underserved and who are the most vulnerable. And so then we go into the supplemental, we go into detail. So that's the first one we talked about, the burden. But one of the things I want to also point to your attention, what's going to happen sooner than later, many people who are actually on Obamacare, those, we had supplements and we had ways of paying for it, which was a tax deduction. That tax deduction actually allowed people to have Obamacare, health care throughout the entire country. Now, those vouchers are about to end at the end of December. So someone who actually was on Obamacare, let's say you were paying $125 a month for insurance, now you're going to be looking at $125 jumping to anywhere between $400 and $600 a month. And the federal government has a responsibility to let everybody know before they impose this. But they have not been living up to their responsibility of telling people what's coming down the pipeline. And so we are being vigilant to let everybody know what is going on. I want to turn over now. We talked about voting rights a little bit and what they're trying to do there. And I want to get to your questions. So that's why I don't want to go too far or too long, but I really want you to take a good look at this. But I want to tell you the good side, the bright side, because there are some bright sides. The bright side is that we've been fighting now since January 20th, and we have been fighting and winning. I thank God every single day for the NAACP, because like she said, they suing everybody, said, can I get a shirt? And with these lawsuits, we have been winning some of them, we have been delaying, and we've been pushing through. And I want to let you know, when we win some, people pay attention. This administration has been rolling back. They would want to do worse to us, but we keep fighting and pushing back. This administration, when you raise enough problems and you let them know that I'm not going to support you, they do cower back. And so our goal is to get everybody to get up and to give them enough problems for them to know this is a losing policy. But this is when we all have to be involved. This is when we all have to organize. This is when we all get into the fight. And for the last few months, you know, we fight in Congress every single day. We fight in the courts every single day. We fight in the community also. But at this point right now, as they try to do this last alley-oop to us and remove our voting rights, I need everybody to hit the streets. I need everybody to organize. I need everyone to start talking to their children and their grandchildren and telling them what's going on. Everybody needs to be a part of this right now. If we allow this to happen to us, this is not going to be something we get over within a year or another election. These laws are done well in advance. And so I've been going to church, and I've been telling everybody that the Lord has called us to be the salt of the world. He has called us to be salty. What does that mean? As we look at people and they are discouraged, we speak faith and we speak hope. We do the work. We understand that the Lord will hear our cry and that he will answer us. That despite what they say and the support they feel like they have and the money they think that they have, we have prayer and the Holy Spirit. That the Lord will change things within an instant, within a moment. That he will recompense us and that he sees our cries. And that's why I need every single person to be active right now, because we cannot fight alone. And as I go throughout the entire country, I see people being discouraged. But this is not the first time when we were discouraged and Black people had to stand up and lead. And so this is our moment once again to pick up ourselves, to speak truth to power, to be inspirational, and let them know that we will not defer to the lower selves of ourselves, but we will rise higher and speak about who we aspire to be. We are not a racist nation. I refuse to accept that. And everybody else should refuse to accept that. Because if we accept that we're a racist nation, then everybody just falls back and says, well, this is who we are. We are a nation in which everybody has a promise to live with equity and be equal and be treated with dignity. And we must force every single person, every single judge, every single legislator to live up to that, every single president and everyone in that cabinet. And so I thank you so much, and I'm going to hand it back over to you guys.
Let me just say one thing. We are trying to strategize. Everybody, y'all can hear me, right? Before you hit the streets, remember in the state of Florida, they made it illegal for us to get together in March. But there are ways to do this and to be together. So wait for organizational, directives, because you could be out there on that street hollering, and all the things gonna happen is Fort Lauderdale gonna come pick you up and put you in the pokey for disorderly conduct. We are strategizing. We are just the other night I was with the president of the Florida Bar. We now have a black woman that is the president of the Florida Bar. There are voluntary bar associations, lawyers. We're talking, we're strategizing, because I don't want any of you to go to jail. Some of y'all couldn't handle it. But when we make the clarion call, as the Congresswoman said, we need all boots on the ground. And I ain't talking about where the fans at. We're looking at where my people's at, all right? So I know she said hit the streets. The street that you should hit is every election that's coming up. I don't care if it's for dog catching. Get in there. The same way y'all used to wait for y'all. Some of y'all went to the Tom Jordan morning show when he had y'all all night long. Y'all had their wet wipes, so y'all ain't nobody went home and took a shower. We're gonna need that type of perseverance. Okay, if you want to maintain the comforts that you now enjoy. Now, if you don't care, some people say, well, I'm too old, I don't care. All right, well, you go on home and be with the Lord. But I'm planning to be here, and I enjoy the liberties. Okay, the Bible says, stand fast in the liberty and Christ has made you free, and be not entangled again with the bondage. So I'm not going back. Okay, that's another NAACP line. We ain't going back. All right, thank you.
Thank y'all. And so there are a number of things happening, but I want to start, and Congressman, you alluded to the issue of voting. So under the Tallahassee and now Washington getting in on making sure that the supervised election doesn't like to say purging, but that's exactly what it is. They call it maintenance. And so there are hundreds of thousands of folk that have been maintenance off. If you haven't voted, you skipped a couple of elections. If they sent you out a new voter registration card or voter information card, they call it, and they forgot to put your house number, your apartment number, and it gets returned, then you get bumped. If you certainly haven't voted for a while, but there's also, in addition to that, there are folk who, if you go to get your a driver's license replaced, renewed, any of those things, you're getting a new number. Now, what's supposed to be happening is that new number, because they're just trying to help y'all out, because the old number that you had forever is too easy to figure out, because the first number is your first letter, is your last name, and so on. That's foolishness. But it's supposed to, you go in, driver's license, they connect your new number to your voter registration. So that's not really happening. And in my own family, my daughter moved from Kissimmee over to Orlando, really across the street. And so my daughter goes to she's a registered Democrat, she goes to get her driver's license done, and they have some problems with it, they say, but she makes sure that she's registered. And then my son-in-law, they live in the same house, they go in, they both move from the same address. He doesn't have to get a new number, my daughter has to get a new number. So my daughter is listening, she's on social media, and somebody's saying that this new driver's license number is voter suppression. So she goes online and said, well, let me just check. I'm gonna check my status, and I'm also gonna request my vote by mail ballot. She uses her new number. She cannot locate her voter registration. She goes in and puts her old number in, because she's one of the few people that actually memorize her driver's license number. I'm not one of those people, but she did. It shows under her old driver's license number. But when she goes to vote, and we'll take questions a little later, but when she goes to vote, they're gonna ask for her new driver's license, and it won't show up in the system. So now she is going to re-register to update. But what happens if she is not aware, doesn't see that TikTok video, voter suppression? It's supposed to be an automatic thing. And so we are going to work with our supervisors of elections here, because we did go, Christine and some of our others were there, and the information wasn't quite there, clear. And so we are going to double back with bringing staff to make sure. But if you have gone to, you lost your driver's license, it's time to renew, for any reason, you will have a new driver's license number. So we have to be sure, number one, to always check our status. If you know somebody who hadn't voted in a while for any given possible reason, you may very well have been purged, and we sued them, and so they don't like to use supervised elections, and others don't like to use purge, but that's exactly what it is, or maintenance off. So we're going to talk about the need to check your status now, the need to make sure that you do your vote by mail request, and should 47 decide that he's going to do another executive order, we're going to do what, Judge? We're going to sue. Mm-hmm.
The Constitution is very clear. He can only do 2 terms. He seems to think, and then he thinks that Congress is going to pass a law. But let me just give y'all a footnote to this. Vote early. Because the day of the election, there's too many problems. Go to early voting. They even make it on Sundays. Go to church, pray, and then go vote. All right, so Madam President?
Yeah, we got to do our part. So when it comes down to, just a moment, when it comes down to, and let's just say we don't tell anybody who to vote for, but when it comes down to voting, if it looks right, then we need to make sure that we have to keep our leadership. And we usually say diversity on the bench. Well, I guess we need to talk about now diversity in Congress, and particularly in Florida. And you all know we've lost seats already, pitting Black folk against each other. And so it's not even hidden. It's already been said that is what this new y'all's governor wants to do, and 47 wants to do. Now, here's the thing. The rule is you have to ask a question. You can't make a statement because we have other people. So if you ask a question, we'll be in good shape.
I just wanted to know if you were aware, because I work with supervisors like
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
when they
Turn it on.
Can you tell us your name?
My name is Cornell.
Okay.
Turn it on.
Is it on?
It's on. It's
on.
just
Is
not
it?
that.
Okay, put some bass. Go ahead, sir.
We didn't even know there was gonna be a change.
Yeah.
Driver's license. We did not.
Yeah, try this one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Thank you, Gwen.
I apologize. I don't really like public speaking, but I wanted to say something on that. We didn't really know. We had a situation where someone updated it and we thought it was a different person possibly. And then we reached out and that's how we found out to the state. And also with the driver's license, it's not automatic that it will update when you go and change it. So if they do not ask you if you want to update your voter registration, you can let them know that you want to do that, because you can get a paper application from them, because I personally take them to them, or they can do it electronically, because we partner with the state on that. That's a state law. We're required to partner with them. Any library, public assistance office, or disability office, you can get an application.
But I was told that they are slow walking it in places. Because I had to call Mary Hall myself. I just renewed my license, so I had to call her. But I'm a 119 protected, but I want to make sure that when I hand my license over, that I can vote. So, you know.
And if you're aware, that primarily affects people who vote by mail. If you don't update it, if you vote by mail. If you go in person, you can update it when you go in person to vote. You can do that.
Thank you, Cornell. And I just want to say that we are very fortunate here in Broward because even though things may not be perfect, we are so far ahead of the other 66 counties. It is ridiculous. They are always a phone call, sometimes even a text away. So we're not blaming. We're just saying how it is, and the laws keep changing. Oftentimes, we'll see that they have an organization, the supervisor of elections do, and they stand against the rules and they weigh in, but they're ignored because the other folk have a mission that is different than what's right and what's just. Yes, Jasmine.
Piggybacking on what the gentleman indicated, I just reviewed mine. Went to my friend Sonia to help me with the automated stuff. I think it's very disingenuous in the question and the way they ask. You're going through and putting all your information in, and then there's a box that says, do you?
Come back closer.
Something like this. Do you want to register to vote? That's what it said. Well, I've been registered to vote since I was 17 years old. So I would normally think, no, check no. I've already registered to vote. Then when I finished my driver's license renewal, it said, you are not registered to vote. And I went back and said, no, this is not true. So I called the next morning to figure out what went down because I am registered to vote. They told me that because I did my new driver's license, I got a new number, just like you said, it did not flow over to automatically link to my voter registration, and that I either can go online or come to the office and re-register to vote. What if people don't know this?
That's a problem. They're trying to, I'm just telling you the short end of that, because I talked to the mayor home. I said, when people are doing that, and they say, I want to register to vote, that means you are trying to register under a new name, a new number. That's called fraud. And the election police will come knocking on your door. So they're just trying to catch it. But we're not ignorant of their devices. It behooves you, we're giving you knowledge tonight. You renew your license. I did.
Re-register.
I made sure I called the supervisor of elections. It is worth a trip to go in, because if you try to do, even electronically, online, it's gonna look like you're trying to register twice.
Yes.
Okay? And have a different license number for each time you register, so that the machine won't kick you out. But the election police, they're still around. They're not, talking about it right now, but you will hear more about that when the election time, 2026, that they're gonna come and arrest a whole lot of people because of that.
Yep.
So you're in Broward. I can't talk about the other 66 counties, but you now know what you need to do. So if you change your address, call the supervisor of election or go in.
That's even if you change your address,
Or
if you add a name or name change or anything you do to your driver's license, you need to re-register to vote.
Yeah, the law requires that you have to complete a voter registration application. Change your name, your party, and if you're updating your driver's license, it has to be an application.
And just remember now, this is not the supervisor of elections' choice. This is because of state law. Now, we were one of the groups that sued because the previous form was too complicated. And so this is not Joe Scott or the supervisor of elections forms. These came straight out of Tallahassee, and they came up with this stuff. So let's not get it twisted. This is a bigger plan, but it's not Joe Scott. He has to follow. You remember that we used to have a trifold that he would give us. Well, that became, they didn't like that. And so other supervisors of elections started using it, and then it became a bifold. So what Joe Scott and his staff, in general, they have to do is follow statute. But you see how all these roadblocks are happening? So just know where it's coming from. Very quickly, Christine, go ahead.
I'm Christine Jones, and one of the things that I looked at when it comes to voter registration, that card, that twofold that he has now, is you update your voter information. You update it when you put in your new voter with your driver's license number. If you change your address, you updating. You're not re-registering, you just updating everything. So I did it. When I started voting in 1971, they didn't have none of my numbers. I had to update all that stuff to give them my numbers. So that's all we're doing is updating.
And we have forms over here on the table. All you have to do, and as I see deltas, I see sigmas, I see zetas, I see the, yes, I see the alphas, absolutely. I see, oh, okay, I see the kappas, absolutely. All of us, I see the Order of Eastern Star Golden Victor, number 44 now. I see FAMU Alumni Association. All of us can be what they're calling partners. Did I see it? Is it? Oh, okay. I see the hooks. I see it now. I see it hooks. I see Faith in Florida. I see Broward Democratic Black Caucus. I see Mr. New Hope over there as well. Is that my commissioner? Yes, Commissioner Beverly Williams. So all of us can go by. We can purchase. Sometimes a lot of those things are gifted to get the information. Just know that you have to give these things to folk and they have to mail them back. There's self-addressed postage with postage already on there to make sure it's turned in or mailed to the supervisor of elections office. The forms are there. It ain't like they're gonna say no. They need us, but there are partnerships. I think are they every quarter that they held the partnership meetings? Every quarter. I think you have one coming up, I think on October 23rd. And you get to ask all these questions in addition to them coming out as well. And we're also working with churches. Some have already begun with social justice ministries. And what that means is they're connecting the people in the church, and I'll just speak for ours. Wait, this on YouTube. Don't y'all tell them I said. We like to say all of our people vote, but we don't really know that. But there's a way through working with the supervisor of elections that we can check voter rolls to see, number one, if we're registered. Number two, if we've been voting. You can't tell who you voted for, but you can tell if you voted, and then if you are signed up to vote by mail. But the time to do that is now. So very quickly, Paulette, Miami-Dade, we'll let you talk. I'm gonna tell your president you here. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, I'm Bartlett, and I'm from the NAAC Day branch. A simple way for this to be corrected for the driver's license is that driver's license should tell their people when they come in to change their renew, or if they lose it and they come in for a new one, you need to update if you like to, make certain you have a correct voter registration form. I mean, that's not gonna take a whole lot of time.
They have not been released or given permission to help us.
Well, how difficult is that?
It is not, because it's done electronically.
I know this is on YouTube. They have not been released or given permission to help us. Y'all read between the lines? Have I got it?
We understand what you're saying, Paulette, and you're absolutely right.
Voter suppression.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But yes, it's not what's supposed to be happening is not. She's saying that it is intentional.
The DMV, it takes you, don't wait till the last minute to do anything, because you won't get an appointment for 3 to 4 months out if you left your driver's license expired.
So go now if you got to get such your appointment now. And that's not Abby. She hadn't taken over yet, just so you know. It is not Abby, not yet. She's in charge of it technically, but she's got a plan to make sure that we do better. But don't go and slap Abby around because she ain't in charge of it yet. She's working on something. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Rob Phillips, and this is Wayne Green. We commend in for Joe Scott, our Democratic Party, C021 in Poplar Beach, Florida. And we do voter registration information. We do vote by mail information to the community in Broward County, in the Democratic community. My question, what I need from, Sheila,
Congresswoman, yes.
Congresswoman Sheila.
Sheriff Liz McCormick, uh-huh.
What I need is for you to come up with a flyer informing the community that they don't have to be afraid to register to vote because they're not going to jail. I've been in Lauderdale trying to attempt to register Jamaicans for early voting ballot. They're scared. Like, they don't want to register.
Okay, we got you. She gonna answer your question.
I've been in communities with the Spanish folks.
Okay,
That
okay.
make me scared because they might be going to jail. I need somebody to create a flyer letting these people know it's not a crime
Thank you.
for you to register.
So what we've been seeing in the community, especially with the immigrant community, many of them are afraid. And because of that fear of all the fear mongering, ICE being out there being paid $10,000 extra for each one you pick up. And some of the people who they're picking up are actually residents. We've had some people who are legally here who they've picked up, and some of them have been still in a detention center for 8 months trying to fight to get out. And so we are going to the churches also and having these meetings to explain to them who is actually in harm's way and who is not. But we are working, and I can get some flyers out. We send text messages, we email. If you're not in District 20, it makes it very difficult for my office to send out because we can only send out to people in our district. But if you are not, you can sign on and we can send out that information also to them and have them join even one of our teletown halls. We've been the most successful with teletown halls because most of that population is afraid that if they come into the vicinity, the church, the hospitals, wherever it is, ICE will follow them. So have them register. We'll send that out to you and let everybody know who's safe. But it is very complicated because, like I said, TPS holders, humanitarian parole holders, and also residents are not the same category. And some people have TPS holders or residents in their house, even though they're American. And so they now are afraid to do anything because they don't want to bring attention into their house or their family members.
Because right now, a man that was never born in Africa, he's being threatened to be sentenced and deported to Uganda.
And I just want to bring something up. One of the things I say to everybody too, who's not an immigrant, is that when they stop and they go after you, they take you first and ask questions later. And it just gives them another reason to profile. So what they're doing is profiling anybody who looks like an immigrant, and for them, that's Hispanic or Black. Especially if you're at a different place in a different time, they will pick you up and then make you explain later after you have all attorney's fees. So we all have to be vigilant and understand that this affects all of us.
I'm gonna make it quick because the Rod already covered most of it. I am a committed person, and I think that's a good idea what the NAACP president said, and also you, Sheila, and the judge said. We have to organize.
Can we just call her Congresswoman?
Give her the respect that she's due.
Congresswoman,
She's
yeah,
just complaining, I'm kind of.
Yeah.
okay, but I want to give y'all, okay, I gave all of y'all respect, but I'm sorry about that. Congresswoman, give honor to all of y'all. I feel like David, because I'm kind of angry right now because I don't like what's going on. I'm a foot soldier. I'm ready. She know who I'm talking to. I'm ready. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. When y'all say organize, remember what Kingdom did. They organized. I'm kind of upset because I am a minister myself because when I look around, I don't see no clergy here. It bothers me. I think this place should have been packed out. No! Can you please stand? We know what we gotta do, right? All right.
Find out, spare not. Lift up your voice.
Hello, my name is Crystal Preston, and those are my brothers as well. I'm also an alumni of Florida A&M University. My question is, does everyone know it's just not driver's license, it's also your state IDs?
Correct, good point.
So I hear people keep saying driver's license, but a lot of elderly don't still drive, a lot of young people, but they have state IDs, and if they're 18 and older, and eligible to vote, we need to make sure they know it covers the state IDs as well.
Thank you, good point. Okay, gotta be a quick question. We got 8 minutes. Okay,
Good evening, everyone. Congresswoman Sheila, the judge, and you, beautiful lady. I just want to know, increasingly, I get, like I said, I go to work, and I just want to know how can we increase the financial stability in our community with our people? Now, I understand where you're at. I understand where he's coming from because I'm just at a point in life where like I did everything great granny said, I did everything great great granny said, and I see them fight, I heard them fight, but what can I do? We can do to build back that Tulsa, that Georgia, that Alabama, the Mississippi. Like I want that. I thought as a little girl, my time was gonna come to be with my people. I don't hang with my age because they don't want that. They chasing the Jones, and I feel so. I'm not scared. I'm not afraid. I feel so lost in the world, in the city where I grew up in. This is my place. This is my home. But yet I'm not able to go to Las Olas and enjoy myself, a good time with my people. How we used to kick it up in the flare dresses. I'm just saying, like, when y'all gonna talk to y'all grandchildren and let them know 34 years old Ashley Thomas is ready to be on there.
thank you.
So our economic condition has been one thing that we have been really fighting to push by having some companies come in to have more virtual jobs and accessibility. But I'll tell you, the biggest issue that we're having in this country is trying to train. And so I do everything to supplement our income. So we've given out more than $14 million when it comes to housing, when it comes to even money to Catholic charities so they can have rent supplements, subsidies, electricity bill subsidies. But there's only so much we can do if we're actually not bringing businesses into the district. But right now, the way they have been able to cut out diversity and equity and inclusion, how that has been impacting us even harder is traditionally the jobs that would come from suppliers, Black businesses who are suppliers. Now they have fired those companies and those businesses with the assumption that it's Black and that's why they got it. One of our biggest hiring sources are our Black businesses. And now that they're tearing down the foundation for them to have accessibility to contracts, we're seeing less and less jobs available within our district. And so we've been fighting to bring more jobs here and more jobs training. Another issue that we're fighting to make sure that we can have jobs in the district also is connectivity. There's a lot of virtual jobs, even when it comes to things like, I think they told me it's 4 months training for cybersecurity. And now, remember, Biden, he put that money out for cybersecurity training. He put that money out even for healthcare training. It's this administration that blocked it and didn't allow us to have it go into the community so you could be trained for 4 months and then be able to work at home with your babies as a cybersecurity agent. At that time, I think last year they said that there was a shortage of more than 2 million people to work in cybersecurity. Right now, because of the way they loosened the AI rules and the AI laws, they're looking to supplement that. Those are 2 million jobs that could have went to people. They're trying now to have it go to AI, which is a very scary thing because AI has not been proven. And we're talking about cybersecurity, national security. I don't think we want to risk that to AI that can be hacked and controlled by Russia and China. So we're pushing to make sure that those jobs still exist, but it always comes back to our ability to fight back and make sure the money we set aside actually comes into the community.
Hold on 1 second. Faith in Florida. If you will come talk about your petitions real quick. There is a petition for Medicaid expansion. And well, it is our one shot we have to come forth to get it on the ballot. So I wanted to discuss that. I think you had your little Cadillac with you. Okay. Yes.
Hello, thank you, President Ellis, Congresswoman, and my honorable Judge Holmes and McCormick. Sorry for being delayed. We had another meeting prior to this that was already scheduled. But thank you for this time. I am here to talk about Medicaid expansion. Did I have some help? Yes. So we are on a $1 million petition campaign. And we need those petitions by the 1st of November. We need a million voters, Florida voters, to properly complete the mail-in ballot and, or not the mail-in ballot, the petition, and put it in the mail. The petitions come with a pre-stamped, pre-addressed envelope. And so that is our mission. We need this. There are over 1.4 million and some. That's just people uninsured, the gap of the uninsured. But 16 million people will be impacted if Medicaid expansion is not passed. People, hospitals and clinics will close. Healthcare workers will lose their jobs. Not the foster care children, but children, working class citizens, blue collar workers. It's a lot of people that's going to be affected, and we need everybody to be engaged in this campaign. It's going to take more than a couple of organizations. It's going to take everybody involving everybody, because healthcare is a human right. And we need to get this done. We need to get it on the ballot. Please join in to this initiative. And I'm gonna be honest, Cunilla, my sister who does, she's a super leader for Faith in Florida. She did tell me to bring the petitions, she did. But because we was running so late, I said, I can't go there late with, and do this. So
just tell us how to get them, whether it's organizations, church, whatever wants to tell us.
we have a code, okay. Good, great.
Okay. And so the petitions, you each will receive, I think I was at a meeting on Monday that you held, and they gave us copies. It's a very simple petition to fill out, and an envelope that already has postage. All you've got to do is complete it and then drop it in the mail. We can't, since thanks to the administration, another voter suppression piece, we cannot accept them back, but we can provide you with plenty of petitions, prepaid envelopes, so that we can send them up.
And do your best to get them in the mailbox.
As quickly as possible.
Yes, and do your best to complete them. And please be aware of where it says county, it's not country. And if you put country, they're going to disregard, they're going to disregard your ballot. So properly complete it and get it in the mail as soon as possible. And just so y'all know, we're way behind in the numbers with the amount of days ahead. We need to triple and quadruple step, and everybody needs to get involved in this initiative. Thank you for this time.
Okay. Q, did you have something to add? So we got the deltas from the north, the deltas from the south, and then Broward County.
Thank you all so much for allowing me to just share this. If I can, Congresswoman, I'd like to work with your staff just to perhaps send this out. This is a registration, so that if you are able to scan this particular code, we're asking you to request from your name of your organization and also the contact person of how many petitions you'd like for us to actually coordinate to give to you. So this is what we'll have, and if I can work with your staff members to send this email out or to attach this as a follow-up in your meeting for this particular code, this document, we'll be able to send this out to everyone that's here so that they will have the opportunity to request petitions.
She has a few petitions. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I think you even promised to drop some at our office, and you're out and about, so we will make sure that every organization, any entity that wants to assist, they have no problem sending, delivering, they'll get them to you. I can tell you that now. So if you don't get them tonight, you can contact. If you send me the information, I'll send it to everybody on our email list as well. So if everybody did the same, we can get going on it. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
First Sunday coming up, so this is a good Sunday to get this going.
Okay, Commissioner, we're 2 minutes over. real quick. No, I mean, we're 2 minutes over, so you gotta make it quick. So, we don't wanna overstay our welcome. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say, I took my 13 that I had. And
Yes.
I wrote Broward, and where it said county, I just wrote Broward. It's
In black ink. Okay, good deal. All right, if you will see who has them, Paulette has some, Christine Jones has some, and we'll make sure to have some at our office as well. Also, we'll send it out to make sure we get this done. We can do this. There are over 3 million Black folks in the state of Florida. There's over 500,000, usually 600,000 Broward County alone, about 500,000 more in Miami-Dade. We can get this done. We just got to make sure that we do it. Doesn't cost us anything. We don't have any excuse. Is the pastor still here? Pastor Trey, if you'll come down, give us the benediction, please. Okay. Yes. Yes. Go ahead, Congresswoman, while he's waiting.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. If I can ask one thing of everyone is to,
Hold on, no, give us the attention, please. Paulette, y'all give us a moment.
The Congresswoman just has one thing she needs to say to us.
is to get involved. And to do that, I need you to sign up to our newsletter, come out to our events. And when you get involved, everybody now should have a Twitter account, an Instagram, Facebook, whatever you have. And when you get out there and you start telling people, I don't agree with this, I want my Medicaid, get your hands off my Medicaid, my health insurance, put it out there. They are watching. This administration watches every tweet that mentions his name. And he gets very, very sensitive when you say negative things. So don't be afraid to use your voice, to uplift your voice. We're also having town halls everywhere. In those town halls, we have this QR code where you could tell your story about how you're being impacted. Everybody who signs on to it, every video, we take that to DC and we show the faces of the people who are being impacted. So please be involved. Bring people to the town halls. Everywhere you go, make sure you're saying, call your senators. We got 2 senators right now who are supporting this. Call every elected that is in Congress, even if they're not in your district, and raise your voice, because the more people we have fighting back with us, the more they have been doing an about face. So we need your voice and we need you to be active in this moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. I want to thank Pastor for allowing us in once again. We try not to wear out our welcome, but we just feel so welcome up in here. But we really want to thank you for always being a beacon of hope for the community. Thank you, Pastor.
Amen. Amen. Well, we are grateful. Come on, let's one more time. Let's put our hands together for the Fort Lauderdale, Broward County NAACP chapter. Let's give a hand to our Congresswoman for meeting us here and being here with us tonight. I really do appreciate that, Congresswoman, because, you know, people forget to call me by my title all the time, and I just appreciate y'all standing up, you know what I mean? Because anyhow, let me just get on let's all stand. You know, sometimes people be wanting to call me Reverend Green, and they be little boy, no, I'm not, just kidding, just teasing. Tonight, does everyone feel empowered tonight? Yes. Oh, yeah. Does everyone feel unified tonight? Yes. So when you have that feeling, we also have momentum. I almost said momentum. We have momentum, y'all. And so the only thing that stops momentum is when you take that feeling and you do nothing with it. And we have to take the feeling we have tonight and do something with it. Not just for ourselves, but for our community, for our neighborhood, for our city. So let us go to God in prayer. Father God, we thank you for what our eyes have seen, what our ears have heard. God, we bless this fellowship tonight, that you will cover every household, that you will cover every neighborhood that's represented, that you will cover every family right now under the banner of your blood. God, bless our going out the same way you blessed our coming in. And Lord, we know that if you help us to mobilize, unify, and strategize, tomorrow is going to be much better than today. And God, we thank you in advance. So now see us safely to where we're going and bless our hearts on the way there. This we ask in the name of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Sarah.
said that.